Okay. Okay, post this on Twitter here, and here we go. We are live right now. Hope that everyone's having a great start to their weekend. I know I started really late today. I was just busy with a few projects, and I will have a video for you guys tomorrow. Hey everyone. Okay. How you guys doing? Hey Isaiah, Zach, Zay, how you doing? I'm gonna talk about the physical, supposed physical delay of GTA 6 tomorrow, but I will tell you guys something. I don't believe that GTA 6 is getting physically delayed. I don't think so. I don't believe that personally. I think that that leak is completely fake, and I'll explain why tomorrow.
I'm telling you, not everyone's made for this kind of life.
Am I gonna make top 5s in GTA 6 online? Yes. Yes, you bet. And I still got more planned for still GTA Online. Pretty easy, this one here.
What are you doing?
Okay. Carry you back in the can for another 20 years and compromises. Yep, Lewis. Well, you can talk to me whenever you want, Shiny Knight. I hope everything's okay. Why should I deliver the bounty pad? Wait until there's 2 minutes left. I mean, do you guys really believe that GTA 6 physical is getting delayed? I don't believe it, personally. I think that leak is BS. Which vehicles are recommended for GTA Online odd jobs? For taxi work, should I get a Hardy with a taxi livery? And with no drift tuning, for example. The best taxi vehicle is actually the Arena Wars taxi. The Arena Wars taxi, that's the best one. The Pegasus vehicle is the fastest one. Marsov. And I'm gonna have a guide on these odd jobs coming out. Hey Patrick, back in the Manhunt, when you mentioned the gangs that are really scarier than any GTA games, the Nang Boys were the second scariest gangs. Well, the Nang Boys were a bit scary because you know what they did to those people on that container ship. But, the Manhunt gangs are always the scariest in the series. Oh, okay, Shiny Knight. Austin is your name? Yes, SOCOM 3 we will do probably after Yakuza Kiwami 3, Josh. So I will do it. I promise you. You have my word that we will do SOCOM 3 in the spring.
All right here, folks.
Do you think Fat Dom from The Sopranos should win the Darwin Awards for failing at not pissing off the Sopranos crew? You know, I don't even know why he came over there. He came over there specifically to antagonize Silvio. He pissed off Silvio and Carlo. And honestly, Fat Dom, I did not feel bad for that guy at all. He had it coming. Do you remember that prankster Mizzy? He has redeemed himself. Tozy made a video about it. What do you mean redeemed himself?
Come on! Damn, take the ropes off already!
Oh yeah, yeah, they are, Isaiah.
Ugly toad.
My favorite things to do on GTA Online when solo. Well, I like to a lot of times ride my motorcycle around. I do like that in GTA Online. The casino probably the other one. Solo Cayo Perico probably.
Money's on the table.
Cayo Perico solo is actually not bad at all. But it's when you have more people, it's really difficult. Mizzy stopped being a prankster and has a real job. He even admitted that he was stupid and wants to change for his children. Okay, well, it's good that he's changing his life around then. The guy who was being racist to my girlfriend at my job ended up getting banned from every Walmart in Canada, all because we didn't have the item he wanted. What a moron. Thank you, Ferris, for the super chat. That guy, it's good he got banned. But, look, here's what I will tell you, though, Ferris. Because I know you're new to working in retail. Here's what I will tell you, though, is that, at least in my store, I don't know how your store is, but in my store, people almost never got permanently banned. It almost never happened. It never did. And so chances are what might happen is a couple weeks later, that guy might come into your store and your manager's not going to do anything about that. That's probably what will happen in a couple weeks. Because I will tell you this, I've seen people get banned. They're told, oh, you're banned from the store, don't come back here. And then a couple weeks later, they shop and management does nothing about it. I've seen it happen so many times. Anybody here work in retail is the same, you've seen the same thing I've seen? I wonder if somebody in the comments probably has. But at least the guy got banned right now. So, you don't have to deal with the guy. But I'm not trying to get you in a down mood. The only thing I'm saying is that when I've worked in retail, I've never seen anybody permanently banned. Like, they tell them you're banned, to never come back to the store, and then a couple weeks later they come back and management does absolutely nothing about it. There is this guy that when I worked in retail, and what this guy did is he did something really disgusting, and he would take a chocolate bar, he would eat half of it, and then he would shove the other half of the chocolate bar somewhere in the aisle, and he would put it in different places around the store. So like all over the store, I'd find like half-eaten chocolate bars, all over the place, and I had to clean up. And the thing is, I when I was cleaning the store, I probably found 50 of these chocolate bars over like a 2-year period, just 50 of them. Just that's how many times I've had to clean up after this guy's disgusting. He steals a chocolate bar, eats half of it, and then just shoves the rest of it somewhere in the aisle. Now, one day my manager actually caught him. Like he actually saw him actually eat the chocolate bar, and put it in the shelf, and he even showed me a security footage. He showed me security footage of him in the office. He showed me from him in the aisle how he confronted the guy and basically told him that he's banned from the store. And the guy tried to come into the store. He tried to come into the store like 10 minutes later after he got banned, and he said like, "Oh, here's $200. I want to make restitution." And my manager's like, "You probably owe me over $1,000 at this point." But he told him, "No, you're banned from the store. Don't come back here again, or you are gonna get permanently, we're gonna get you arrested." That's what he said. Now, the what ends up happening is a couple months later, that guy comes into the store and he's shopping, and I told my manager immediately. I'm like, "No, the chocolate guy, he's back in the store." And you know what my manager says to me? My manager says to me, "Oh, we can't do anything about it." I'm like, "Why? You banned him from the store." And the manager's like, "Yeah, but I don't want him to call corporate and complain." I'm like, what is he gonna complain about? What, that he got banned from the store for literally stealing over 100 chocolate bars? Like, like that. And I will tell you, if corporate actually cares about that, like they care about some guy that was like stealing chocolate bars complaining, like corporate are just a bunch of morons. But yeah, that's what my manager's like. "Oh, we don't want him to call corporate." And he's like, "Don't worry, Pat, he's not gonna do it again because he knows that we're on to him and stuff like that." And to be fair, the guy never did it. He never did do the chocolate bar thing again. It never happened. But he started shopping there again, and that pissed me off. Because I wanted the guy banned. I did not want to see it. I did not want to look at the guy. I wanted the guy out of the store. I never wanted to see the guy again. So at least he didn't do it anymore, but I still never wanted to deal with him ever again. And so that's one thing that pisses me off. And I will never understand these corporations. I don't understand how you could care about that. Like, why would you care about somebody like that? Like, why would you want that guy's business? That guy cost you how much money in chocolate bars? Like, you lost money from that guy. Like, why would you care if that guy calls corporate and complains? That's one thing I don't understand about corporate. Sometimes corporate is just so stupid. You're wondering how they run these companies, how they haven't gone bankrupt, because of how stupid corporate is a lot of times. But that is that's what I was wondering. Yeah, and I will also tell you, Ferris, is if that guy ever comes back to your store and he says something racist to your girlfriend, you have by no means an obligation to be nice to that customer. You don't have to help that customer at all. You can basically tell him to F off. Even when you're working. And if your manager basically complains to you and say like, "Oh, you can't talk to a customer like that," or something like that, you tell the manager, "Well, you banned this guy from the store. You said this guy was not going to come back from the store, and he's back here again." So like you tell the manager, it's either me or this shitty customer, excuse my language, of basically what you would do. And if your manager is not going to back you up at that point, it's not worth working at that place. That's what I'll tell you. So that's basically it. If you ever see him, come back in the store, and he starts, talking crap to your girlfriend again, that's basically what I would say. Is just, just tell him to F off. And if he complains or anything, you tell your manager, you said you banned this guy, and you didn't keep your promise. A lot of times management doesn't want to deal with the issue and lets it go. Well, it's more of an issue if you let the thief keep shopping there, or the disruptive customer shop there. I'm getting a knockoff Benelli M4 on Monday. Make sure that it's something good. You don't want a cheap knockoff that's gonna break. That's When I worked at a grocery store, I had to take someone's groceries to their apartment across the street, which I'm not supposed to do. I didn't even get a tip. Well, you still did them a favor that one time, and I will say this: if they try to ask you to do it again, just say no, and just say, "Oh, my company policy says I can't do that." That's it.
I'll find you. I need to pass. who it is, and kicking the boot. Put him in the cell, won't you? To each their due. Money's on the table.
On what, menacing? I remember this one time I was cleaning up and checking the unit before I head out home, and as I was cleaning up the room, I see a clear bottle full of urine, and I can tell it's not... Oh, man, that's... Ugh, ugh. Why is that, Jonathan Reagan? I should do what more?
You got a real problem, don't you? Careful.
No, I haven't heard of him, Victor. Yes, we'll do a Vice City Stories 20th anniversary playthrough. Thinking that birth is morally wrong? What? Let me go to Moonshine Shack here. What was the #1 thing on GTA Online that got you the most mad? Explain, please. There's a lot of things, but if I had to tell you the #1 thing that pissed me off about GTA Online, like the thing that just I hated the most, well, I'm doing streams now on Wednesdays, Dane. So I'm trying to do like middle of the week streams. Maybe not every Wednesday I'm able to hit it, but I've been trying to. But and tell me if you guys agree with me on this. But the #1 thing that, at least for me, pisses me off about GTA Online, the thing that's made me the most mad, is the fact that Rockstar does not acknowledge the community at all. Zero. Like, I know I could say Orbital Cannon, I could say, like, Oppressor Mark II, I know I could say, like, annoying, cell missions and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of things that I can say. But I would say that Rockstar not listening is the #1 thing that pisses me off, because there are so many complaints that people have, and the developer does not address it, ignores the fans. A perfect example is just look at what happened with Red Dead Online. Look at Red Dead Online. The amount of people were just begging Rockstar to update the game, begging them, and they just ignored them and they abandoned the game.
You have the discipline, of course, but listen, and this is the real secret. You make no compromises. You see a problem, you solve it. You have your gun, I have my ladle. Well, bon voyage. Allez.
Yeah. Rockstar added that whole feedback page, I remember, in 2019, and I gotta wonder, like, what was that even for? The feedback page. Like, what was the point of that? They don't even listen. Well, hopefully they do that in GTA 6 Menacing. And ironically, Crime Boss actually made me feel much more like a crime boss than GTA Online did. The Labor of Love Award winner. Well, the thing is, I did that. That's the backstory about that. So it wasn't just me, but we kind of did this on the channel. So basically, I wanted I was a very big Red Dead Online player back in the day. I played this game a lot. I would play this game multiple times a week, almost as much as GTA Online. I played this game back in the day. And what happened is I was so pissed at Rockstar because they abandoned this game and just did not make any more updates for this game, and it pissed me off how they abandoned the game. So what happened was when Steam was doing that Labor of Love awards, and what the Labor of Love award basically was, it was an award for the game that has added the most DLC content. Like the game that's added the most amount of DLC content in, like, I think it was 2024 or 2023, I forget what year it was, but like it was, I think 2023, I think it was, right? Of like what game added the most amount of DLC content. And as you know, in 2023, Rockstar added nothing to Reddit Online, no DLC content whatsoever. And what I did was I basically told people on my channel, I was like, guys, let's all just go on Steam's page and just vote for Red Dead as being like the game that added the most amount of content in 2023, just to prank Rockstar. And like people, I did it, and then a bunch of people watching my videos did it, and everybody just started voting for it. And if you're wondering why Red Dead Redemption 2 won the Labor of Love award, it was largely because we did it on this channel, because I kept telling people to do it, and people did it. And so like the most amount of DLC content added to a game that never even did DLC. And the whole point of that was, it was to basically prank Rockstar and make Rockstar look stupid, because it was like the game won an award for the most amount of DLC content, and like it was basically to make the gaming reporters basically cover it, because the gaming reporters would cover it and be like, why is this game that has no DLC content winning the award for the most amount of DLC content? It was basically so that Rockstar couldn't ignore something like that. But it was kind of funny when it happened, though. How's it going, bro? Love your content. You being a YouTuber is a huge inspiration to me and my wife. Keep it up. Thank you, Cowboys and Angels. Thank you, dude. What casino did you go to in Las Vegas? Oyo. Don't, the thing about Oyo is an absolutely terrible hotel. It's terrible. Don't ever stay at the Oyo. But if you want to play at a casino, Oyo is not a bad casino. It's a pretty affordable casino. But the hotel itself, don't stay at the hotel. The hotel's terrible. Do I ever do 1v1s at the beach? No. I don't do that stuff. It's stupid. I never was a fan of that stuff. Yeah, and $380,000 in this time period, $380,000, that would be about I'm trying to calculate how much that would be. That would be about, I'm doing it all in my head. It's a little. Uh, it would be about $11,200,000. That's how much 380,000 would be. About $11,200,000. That was that hurt doing that calculation just now, but. Okay, do this guy here. Oh, hey, Minion Dave. Yeah, the Kiwami videos, I got copyright claims for them. I'm gonna fix them. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna fix that stuff. Take care of it. It is getting really annoying. It really is. I know I started kind of late on the stream today. I got orbed 4 times on the same MC because my mic was on and they heard my music. People are toxic. 14,860,000. Are you sure? I thought I got to 11 million, but or actually, hang on. 369. Wait, let me do it in my head again. It's wait. 11,400,000. That's what it should be. Around there. No, Zach. I think I'm gonna watch the Fallout show on the Fallout show on this weekend, and eventually come back to that one.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have the next part of Yakuza Kiwami 2 tomorrow. I already recorded it, so it'll be up tomorrow. A 12-year-old boy dropped out of school so he could pursue playing Fortnite. Even his parents are supporting him. What? Do you think that Red Dead Online could have been as big as GTA Online? No. But it could have been a very profitable and popular game. It would have been one of the most popular games out there. A game doesn't always need to be as big as GTA Online to be a success. Okay, Carlos. Have you heard the Home Alone mom passed away? Oh no, I didn't hear about that. No. I just grinding over the years, Raccoon. Hey, Art, how are you doing, dude? How totally different? What do you mean, like personality-wise, Jonathan? What do you think is the most annoying type of YouTubers? The most annoying type of YouTubers have to be those guys that they post those videos that basically make like no sense. It's like massive clickbait. Like, have you guys ever seen those ridiculous videos where it's like I get these ridiculous shorts like recommended to me all the time, and it's like Joe Rogan reacts to this, Joe Rogan reacts to that, and I get like I click on the video and it's like Joe Rogan's like saying, "Oh, did you see that?" And then it like goes to this video. And the thing is, though, is that the exact same clip plays of Joe Rogan apparently reacting to every single thing, and he's not even, it's like some YouTubers took, like, one clip of him reacting to something, and then it's basically put in, like, all these different videos of that, it's gotten so annoying with stuff like that when Joe Rogan's not even reacting to the thing in the video, it was just something else, like, constantly that. Over and over and over again. Yeah, you know what else I'll say about this? You know what other YouTubers piss me off? The other YouTubers that piss me off are those YouTubers that basically be like, oh, you know, take my course if you want to know how to get popular on YouTube or you want to know how to make a ton of money. You take my course, buy my new book. It's like those guys, I hate those guys too. Those guys piss me off as well. If you want to get rich, you just, take my 3-week course. If you want to know how to get rich. It's like that crap. I see that. Oh, damn. Okay, I'm gonna have to take the road. I can't cross here. It's all a scam in Zatsu, Fian. Those YouTubers saying, like, oh, buy my book to get rich. Nobody can just read a book that some YouTuber is selling, and then, like, that'll teach them how to get rich overnight. It's not gonna, something like that is not gonna happen, guys. Come on, bro, you can do the course, you're guaranteed millions. No. And you know what else I've gotten, guys? I've gotten like these really weird, like really weird doctor videos that started getting recommended to me. Like, has anybody ever gotten those? I've never gotten them. Like, it was like the last few months they started getting recommended to me, and I don't even watch videos like that. But the videos that I get recommended to me, it's like, don't eat this common household, food or whatever. It was like that. It's like, it could, make you sick. Like, or, this food is destroying your liver. Like, I get recommendations like that. It's like, this is bad for your heart. Like, constantly, like, these weird doctor videos like this getting recommended to me over and over again. I don't even know what that's about. Like, I get tons of those videos recommended to me. I don't even watch these videos, so I don't even know what those, I don't even know what those videos are really about. When is Far Cry 7 coming out? Probably not this year. I blew up his hat, but he's still alive. The salt trick? The what? Well, I will tell you, Jonathan, one thing that I am looking forward to for Kiwami 3 is that biker gang storyline, like where Kiryu can make his own biker gang. That at least I'm kind of looking forward to that one. Because I know that's all new. Yeah, there's the amount of scammers in Yakuza Kiwami was ridiculous. I have the original Yakuza 3. What's my top movie of 2025? I haven't seen any new movies this year. In 2025, I saw no new movies. I don't know if you believe that, but I really haven't seen any new movies in 2025. I won't make it to that chaos. Agent was canceled some time ago, though. Ads are getting weirder, yeah.
Holy hell!
Yeah, I know, some of them are misinformation.
Hell no.
Anyone get those weird AI girlfriend ads? I've seen those. I've also seen those weird, mobile game ads. Those have come up for me too.
I know it isn't always easy, but I'm glad you brought them to
You know what
face
the
up
most
to it.
annoying ad that I think I've seen on YouTube? I've seen this ad probably like over 100 times. It's so many times. I haven't seen it in months, thankfully. But it was like where the guy's like try my new game, The Tower. The Tower is a mobile game where you build your own tower. My fans, they message me constantly. I love them dearly. Like the guy says that all in the ad. He's like he's the guy just sounds so like dead inside. Like when he's making that ad. It's like play my new game, The Tower. Like, does anyone know that tower ad that I'm talking about? Like, that one was that was a really annoying ad that I constantly got recommended to me. We're gonna do the cruise again when GTA 6 comes out. Probably that's what we'll do, dude. I don't know anyone that plays any mobile games, honestly. So like, they're yeah, that's. All the gambling ads are annoying. What faction is the best for the Mojave Wasteland in Fallout New Vegas? Um, it really depends on the area. It really depends on the area. If we're talking specifically about New Vegas, it will be Mr. House would definitely be the one. And I will say this is that the different factions have their ups and downs. Like, for example, when it comes to Caesar's Legion, like, a lot of people think that Caesar's Legion is pure evil, but I would not say that Caesar's Legion is an evil faction. I would say Caesar's Legion is a bad faction. You can make the argument that they're bad, but I wouldn't call them evil. And the reason I wouldn't call them evil is because if you find out, like, in Arizona, that's where Caesar's Legion, like, that's their, head, capital is Arizona. In Arizona, there is virtually no crime. No raiders, no drugs, no chems, no super mutants, none of that stuff, no feral ghouls. None of that stuff exists in Arizona because the Legion cleared everything out. And so it's relatively safe. So, like, you can travel from town to town in Legion territory and not have to worry about getting jumped by something. So that's one of the plus sides of, I guess I would say, living under the Legion, is that it's actually safe. You can make an argument, they're brutal to, the people that they end up conquering, but, at least it's not like the NCR where they have, all these raider gangs and fiends and all this other, junk running around, terrorizing people.
Can't imagine something worse than swimming with the rest of the Indians.
Film searchers? What do you mean?
Today you die in a shallow grave.
Getting better with pre-aim.
I'm gonna be the one that puts you in the ground.
Okay, yeah, getting way better with pre-aim.
No good, cocksucker.
Hey, coward! Piss yourself!
Shit, not again.
Okay, there we go. Okay, let's get him out of here before more enemies spawn, because more people are going to spawn here.
Go to hell.
Yeah, I have Yakuza 3 original. I have it. There is a bunch of the Yakuza games were on sale like a year ago, and I knew that that eventually I was gonna go to play them, so I was like, I might as well just pick them up now for discounts. So I bought all of them. I haven't played them, but I bought all of them, like all of the Yakuza games, like pretty much all of them I own. I just haven't played all of them. What are your thoughts on doing a Skyrim series one day? Maybe one with a fleshed out character with a backstory would be cool. Yeah, the thing is, when I typically play through the Elder Scrolls games, I kind of play like a scumbag character when I typically play through those games. Like, I just do whatever I want to do to make my character rich. So I do some pretty scummy things when I play through those games. But, you know what's actually coming up? The Oblivion 20-year anniversary is coming up. 20 years of Oblivion. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Maybe I could do Oblivion remastered on a 20-year anniversary. When did Oblivion come out, guys? It was 2006. Does anybody know what date it was in 2006 that it came out? I hope I didn't pass the 20-year anniversary already, but it's... Wait until there's 2 minutes and then deliver the target. Oh, okay, whatever,
What the hell am I doing with my life? Your reward?
If there was a Skyrim convention, would you prefer cosplaying as the Legion or a Stormcloak? Neither. If I was to cosplay, I would probably cosplay as the Dark Brotherhood. That's probably who I would cosplay as. March 20th. Okay, thank you, Minion Dave, for telling me. The longer you wait on these missions, the more money you get. Ty. That's why a lot of times we wait a couple minutes. No, I don't use Instagram. It's okay, don't worry about it, Paris. It's not a big deal. Oh, it's up there, yep. I ate a good burger. Oh, okay. Cool. Hamburgers are one of my favorite foods. Dispatch was censored for the Switch 2 version. What was censored? What happened to those bots who impersonate you in the comment section? They don't really come around anymore. I haven't seen those in some time. Do you think Life Under the Player and Yes Man will be better than Life Under the NCR Legion? Yes. Yes. The thing is that the NCR's entire argument for why they are better is we aren't the Legion. That's it. Like, the thing is, though, is that when you think about it, that is really like one of the worst arguments that you could make. It's like when you have to when people have to decide between two people who's better for them, and they one guy his entire argument is, oh, I'm not the other person. That's not really an argument. And that's really the NCR's only argument. That's really their only argument in Fallout. It's like, oh, we're not the Legion. That's just because you're not the Legion doesn't mean that, you know, you're a good person to live under. So literally, that's what I'll say about the NCR is that life under them sucks. It might be a bit better than the Legion, but it still sucks. I would never want to live under the NCR. Like, hell no. No.
Come on, watch it.
Hey, Fernando, what's up, man? Try streaming Gold and I and Driver Parallel Lines. Well, Driver games, I'm gonna play through those one day. Silly question. Would I rather live in Afghanistan, North Korea, Haiti, or Yemen? Oh man, that's a rough one. If I had to choose North Korea, Afghanistan, Haiti, or Yemen, it would be Yemen. And the reason Yemen is because there are plenty of other countries that speak Arabic around it, and I would just escape to one of those other countries. That's what I would do. And so that was it. That's basically what I would say. But Yemen is probably the easiest country to escape from out of all of those other ones. Probably Yemen is probably the easiest one to leave. Thank you, Never Lost, for the super chat. Did I say the new updates? New updates for what? Is it immoral to run a gaming cafe if kids waste their time there? No. Because at the end of the day, you are not responsible for what, you know, other people are doing. The kids are just customers at the end of the day. If you are just like, you know, if you have a gaming cafe, for example, and there is like, you know, kids coming in, the kids are just customers at the end of the day. It's not like, you know, you told the kids, made the kids come in here and just waste all their time. So, you know, they came in, they chose to spend their money and sit on the computers all day long. So it's not really on you. You're a business at the end of the day. It's not like, you know, you're not selling drugs or something like that. You're just running an internet cafe. I will make the other GTA lore in February. The Zero video will be in February, dude. Is Mr. House evil? No. Mr. House, you could make the argument maybe he's not a good person, but he's certainly not evil. Yeah, we'll do those on Wednesday, W-Fan, King. Oh, that's horrible, Jonathan Reagan. When I played New Vegas, which ending did I choose? The first time, Independent. Will I do a video on the Mind's Eye IO situation? Yes, on the weekend. Blinded Eagle. Ow. Do you think a TV series about Red Dead Redemption should happen like how Fallout is a TV show? Yeah, but I would like to see it maybe set like follow different characters. Like I would like to see like whole brand new set of characters. Like I don't want them to follow the old characters. They can make it in the same universe as Red Dead, and you can have some side characters show up. But I would like to see it be the all new characters. Thank you, Plain Mantis, for the super chat. What's the Mind's Eye IO situation? Build a Rocket Boy has left IO Interactive. They are going to be responsible for the publishing Mind's Eye all on their own. And the Hitman collaboration has been cancelled. Hitman is not coming. How did Joseph Piłsudski manage to correctly predict that World War I would ruin all three of the partitioning powers who partitioned Poland, and he made that prediction in June of 1914? Oh, that's really easy. Piłsudski was a freedom fighter who had fought against the Russian Imperials, the monarchists in Russia. He fought against them for years. He robbed banks. He robbed like Tsarist banks back in the day, and he saw how fragile the Russian Empire was. The Russian Empire, it was collapsing even before World War I. It was in decline. It was they was poor. He saw how incompetent their military was. He knew how bad it was, and so Piłsudski knew that basically just a war that would start between these European powers, that their greed would destroy all of them. That because they would be so busy fighting each other and destroying each other that Poland would be able to break away in that time, and he predicted it correctly. So it was in the Polish favor that Russia and Germany and Austria keep fighting, because it did benefit Poland in a way, even though a lot of the war did happen on Polish territory, because it made it easier for Poland to break away from those countries. It also made it, for example, the Russian Civil War was actually a good thing for Poland, because the Russians were so busy fighting each other in that civil war that they were actually finally fully able to break away. So that the destabilization that happened in the Russian Civil War made it very easy for Poland to finally gain its independence. Pro history question of the day. What's with the Americans having supported every single war even? But when it came to Vietnam, everyone was angry, even though America was fighting communists in Vietnam. You are half correct about that. So basically, Vietnam was really the first American war where the majority of the public became against it. World War I had a lot of opposition to it as well. Like, World War I had a lot of opposition, but eventually there was more support for it. But Vietnam was the one that had the most amount of protests, the most amount of people that were pissed about American involvement. And the reason for that was because when the U.S. first got involved in Vietnam, the public majority supported the war. So the majority of the American public supported the involvement in Vietnam when the Vietnam War first started. But what happened was the conflict dragged on. And it dragged on for years and years and years. And the government, the American government, kept saying victory is right around the corner. They kept saying that victory is right around the corner. We're going to beat the North Vietnamese any day now. You know, they're going to collapse. And it did not happen. And it just kept dragging out for years and years and years. And then what happened was the Tet Offensive. The Tet Offensive, that was... I'm trying to remember what year the Tet Offensive was. Let me look up what year the Tet Offensive was. Was that 67? It was 68 when the Tet Offensive happened. It was 68. So by the time the Tet Offensive happened, when the Tet Offensive happened, the United States was already in Vietnam for 5 years. 5 years they were already in Vietnam for. And about the Tet Offensive, when the Tet Offensive happened, the U.S. government, remember, they kept saying that victory is right around the corner, we're going to win. And then North Vietnam launched this huge coordinated attack. And not only did they launch that huge attack there, the Viet Cong launched an attack in South Vietnam in coordination with North Vietnam, and it caused a lot of damage. A lot of people died. Now, the U.S. ended up pushing back the Tet Offensive, but the Tet Offensive showed that Vietnam was far from defeated. People thought that North Vietnam was about to collapse when it wasn't. And so Vietnam was still fighting us even into 1971. That was the year that the U.S. pulled out. I think it was 71. So we were there from 63 to 71. We were there longer than we were in World War II. Think about that. Almost double the amount of time that we were in World War II. And there was like no end in sight to the war. And so that's basically what pissed the people off. It was that and a combination of the draft, forcing people to go and fight there. The reason there wasn't this outrage over the Korean War, like Americans weren't as pissed over the Korean War, was because the Korean War had two things going for it. The first was the United Nations had supported UN involvement in the Korean War. It wasn't just the Americans. So it was a few other countries. The Americans were the largest force, but there were other countries. And the second reason is because it ended fairly quickly. When the United States, the Korean War ended within 3 years. The Vietnam War, if you want to count from the 50s, the Vietnam War lasted for over 20 years, starting in 1955 with the French Indochina War and ended in 1975 with the fall of Saigon. So that's what I would say about the Vietnam War, is that it was like a war that had like a never end in sight, and that is that's precisely why the American public got really pissed. Do you think the majority of the Soviet people initially supported the Soviet intervention of Afghanistan, thinking it would be over in at least 6 months? Yeah. They thought that the Soviets basically thought they would just go in and the Afghans would just surrender and it would just be up. They literally thought it would be over within just a few months, but it wasn't. But here's the thing that I will tell you guys, and this is what a lot of people don't tell you. The people that were constantly protesting the Vietnam War, and they were saying, oh, we're anti-war, that's what they would always say. A lot of these protesters were not anti-war. You know what they were? They were anti-US. And yes, there's a difference between the two of them. Because think about this. If somebody is truly anti-war, right? If somebody's really anti-war, they're going to condemn both sides if somebody's truly anti-war. They're not going to only condemn the US and not condemn the communists and all of their crimes. So if somebody basically is only protesting against the US involvement in Vietnam and they're constantly saying, oh, Americans did this and Americans are evil, but they don't say anything at all about the communists, that tells me they're not anti-war. They're just anti-US. I would only see them as anti-war if they're protesting against both the US and the communists, because both sides did some pretty bad things in that war. But at the end of the day, it was also North Vietnam that started that war. They started that war by invading South Vietnam. So like that's why personally I don't buy it when people say, oh, we're anti-war. Well, if you're anti-war, then why aren't you also protesting against the communists in North Vietnam? So that's basically what I'll say about that. Like, say what you want about the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, but at least when the U.S. was involved in Vietnam, people could freely protest against that. People could say, oh, this was stupid. We shouldn't be, in that country, across the world. But look at the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union was in Afghanistan, were people in the Soviet Union freely able to protest that they were in Afghanistan? Were people allowed to do that? And also, about the fact is that in the Soviet Union, they had a draft. People don't know that. They had a draft. They drafted people. So the Soviet soldiers that were in Afghanistan, they were draftees. Just like the American soldiers were in Vietnam. So that's basically what I'll say about that is that, and the Soviet media covered the whole thing up. The Soviet media would lie about the Soviet Afghan war. They would not cover the Soviet atrocities at all. Where the American media, they covered bad things the U.S. did in the Vietnam War. Okay, here we go. Let's see what else I got here. About to undergo major surgery Tuesday. He's ready. I wish you, the best of health, and I hope everything is okay, Suspect 13. Excluding the Vietnam War, what is your assessment of President Johnson? I mean, really the only thing that Johnson had going for him that was a good thing was the Civil Rights Act. That passed under him. That ended segregation. But I would not throw the entire Civil Rights Act as giving credit to Johnson, because plenty of people wanted the Civil Rights Act passed. Plenty of people wanted segregation to be gone. So I think it's unfair to give him all the credit for all of that. That's probably his only accomplishment. But yeah, it was just like whenever I think of Johnson, I just think of Vietnam and like Johnson lying, drafting kids to go off to fight in Vietnam. Like Johnson was an idiot. He got so many people killed. Harman NFL sponsor pisses me off. He deserves to fail. Darman, you mean? Bork? Thank you for the super chat. I'm not ignoring you, Victor. There's a lot of people that are posting. Do you know anything about the Viet Cong War? The Viet Cong? You mean the communist rebels that were in South Vietnam? Did you ever hear about Operation Unthinkable after World War II? Allies was going to attack the Soviet Union to push communism out of Europe. Well, it didn't happen because they were tired of World War II. Yes, that was Churchill's plan. I know about that, Plain Man. Just thank you for the super chat. Hey, Mario. Let's go over here. Pearl, if you could go back in time to prevent something, where would you go? That's a really tough one. I mean, most people would have probably argued to, I think probably to, killing Hitler, probably the thing, killing Hitler, killing Stalin, killing Hitler and Stalin before they come to power. I think if you got rid of those two dictators, I think that, you could have, if Hitler and Stalin were both killed off early on, you could have saved over 100 million lives, just with Hitler and Stalin being, killed off. Because both of those dictators, they basically caused so much devastation, destruction, and so much death. But if we're talking about other events, because I know most people would choose the Hitler, example. If we're talking about other events, specifically an event that I want to prevent, I would say to have James Buchanan removed as president of the United States. I'm not saying like assassinated, but like have him removed, because James Buchanan did more damage than any American president in history. He is the worst American president ever in history, the worst one. Like that guy was such a moron. He did so much damage to the United States. Like that, like, oh my God, it's like there's nothing good about that guy. He was such an idiot. Worst president of all time in American history. Between keeping Dimitri and Big Smoke, which betrayal was more shocking? Between Dimitri, I think the Big Smoke betrayal was more shocking because you just did not see that coming at all. Dimitri's betrayal, you kind of little saw it a little bit coming when he's like come alone. That was a little bit more you saw that coming. No, not the PvP video. I won't be out tomorrow. Tomorrow I will have a video talking about Fred. My video tomorrow will be talking about the GTA physical release delay. I don't believe that that's gonna happen.
So you're back around, eh? Looking for work?
Uh-huh.
I passed it. I passed what, Suppressor? Am I anti-US? No.
No, sir. Don't see no.
I'm you know, stupid things the US government does. I would say I'm, you know, anti, you know, I'm against the government for that, but I'm never against my own country.
Yes, I do.
Top 5 worst presidents, the top 5 worst presidents in history.
Awful bunch they are.
James Buchanan would be number 1 on that list.
Not if you
I have to think about the other ones. Yeah.
All right then.
James Buchanan definitely. Lyndon B. Johnson, Andrew Johnson. Who else would I have to think on there? I don't want to listen to any of the modern presidents because it's gonna. Everyone has their own opinion on that. I'm just thinking more historical presidents. Woodrow Wilson, yeah, Woodrow Wilson you could definitely put on that list, top 5 worst presidents, yeah. Calvin Coolidge, I don't think Calvin Coolidge really did anything bad. You know, Calvin Coolidge, you know, supported low taxes, free market, less government intervention in the economy. The 1920s boomed under him. I don't think he really did anything bad. Yeah, Hoover, you could make the argument Hoover was pretty bad too, yeah. Nixon did some bad things, but Nixon was not a stupid man. Nixon was a very intelligent man. Nixon did open diplomatic relations with China, so he did fix things with China. And so that's why China did not become a Soviet ally, was because of Nixon. Read my lips, no new taxes. That was George Bush who said that. I know, that was a stupid one. Read my lips, no new taxes. And he went back on that promise and he increased taxes. They are too, Gunner. They're vulnerable to that, but I'm saying is it's easier. Here's the thing is, when a criminal organization is really big, right? It's actually easier for the police to break them up than if they're smaller. If an organization is too small, it's also too weak. But if it's too big, it's too difficult to manage, too difficult to control. And all it basically takes is just one guy. The police need to pick up one guy, throw a bunch of charges at him. The one guy that basically has like knows a lot of information, and the entire organization can collapse. Tear down this wall. That was Ronald Reagan who said that. That will be sometime next week, Fred. Okay, Zach. Yeah, I went to the Aoi bar, and when I went to that bar, I picked up like this box that had like a bunch of Majima construction stuff on it. I had no idea what that was. I had like I found 1,000,000 yen on it too. Does the spell Lunker's cave GA piss you off? What are you talking about? Are you talking about when they went in that cave, Suppressor? I really wish this gun never had a scope. The hell are you going, you coward? Okay. Tomorrow, Gunner, or today, technically, because it's about to be midnight. The unit party support taxes on people. You're talking about both parties, Isaiah, right? There, Pat, I explained it. Wait. What suppressor? Well, I don't know why people go really deep into caves like that, personally. Like, that crap scares me. Like, I could never do that stuff. Yeah, I figured, Isaiah. Which terrorist group is worse, the AUC or the IRA? Oh. Thank you, Ghost Studio Comics, for the super chat. I would say the AUC probably. The IRA are really bad. Don't get me wrong, too. But the thing is, the IRA did target civilians in Northern Ireland too. But the difference between the AUC and the IRA is that the AUC went into villages in Colombia and they killed everybody with machetes, just cut their heads off like kids. That's what they would do. So like, so yes, the IRA are also bad, but like, I have not heard about, like, you know, something like that happening in Northern Ireland, that, like, them cutting off a bunch of kids' heads. So, like, the AUC, I would say, is worse than the IRA. Doesn't mean the IRA are good guys, but the AUC are worse than them. For people that don't know what the AUC is, it's a terrorist group in Colombia. It was largely destroyed for the most part. There's remnants of it that still exist. But it does exist in Max Payne 3. If anybody's ever played Max Payne 3, do you remember that mission with the yacht? And you have those pirates from Colombia that take over the yacht. They're wearing all that camo military gear. Those guys are AUC. It's a real group. Those guys. That they massacred all the people on the yacht in Max Payne 3. Those guys are brutal. Very, very brutal. One of the most brutal terrorist groups in the world. Thoughts on William Howard Taft? Taft, I don't know. I'd have to read up a little bit more on him. Exquisite Vibes. Do I miss school? Not really, no. At times, like, when I miss certain things about school, it's more the people that I talk to and the teachers that I had. But school itself, no, not really. How's the Enclave still alive in the Fallout TV show? Probably the West Coast remnants. The East Coast, they're pretty much all destroyed. Is the AUC far-right? Yes, it's a far-right terrorist organization. It is, but Colombia also has the, FARC, which FARC is a far-left terrorist organization. So, the thing is, Colombia is a country that has so many terrorist groups. There are so many terrorist groups that are in Colombia. The AUC, there was FARC, the ELN. Colombia is not really a country that you think of that has a lot of terrorist groups, but it does. It has these crazy militias that go around the country causing so many problems. They're called the AUP in Max Payne 3, but it was the same group. I know they're called AUP in Max Payne 3, but it is the same thing. It's what the group is based on. but killing Hitler or Stalin doesn't prevent World War II. Here's what I will tell you. If Hitler was to have been killed off during World War II and Rommel would have taken control of Germany, Rommel, I guarantee you, would have tried to negotiate something with the some kind of armistice with the Allies. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind that he would have tried to do that. He tried. Rommel begged Hitler several times to do an armistice, to some kind of negotiations. Hitler would refuse. Hitler never wanted to. So that was if Rommel had, if Hitler had been killed off in Valkyrie and Rommel might have been installed as the new head of the government, chances are, that Germany probably would have ended in some kind of peace settlement. Maybe the Soviets wouldn't have accepted it, but the Western Allies probably would have. But it was Hitler who was bringing down Germany, and he was basically going to fight to the last man and woman. Why was Jackson elected if people hated him? Jackson wasn't really hated. Jackson was not a hated person. Jackson was a very popular figure, especially when he was Jackson was a popular figure before he was president. He became even more popular when he was president. Jackson was considered a national hero because he was General Jackson who defended New Orleans from the British who invaded during the War of 1812. Not at the moment right now, Far. What happened to the Lone Wanderer? He probably left the Capital Wasteland. The Lone Wanderer probably went south, or he went west. That's probably where he went. Why did Japan ally with Germany? For convenience, mostly. Germany was had horrible relations with countries that they did not like. What about the incident where Jackson dueled a guy? Are you talking about where Jackson got shot and then still killed him in a duel? I forget who that was. But I remember I watched a documentary about it some time ago. It was over honor. Something like that. I know Jackson got shot in the duel, and he got shot and then he killed the guy. So he was already hit, but he still took out his gun and shot and killed the guy. Yes, I seen that movie a long time ago, Gunner. A long time ago. I remember that movie. At the end of the movie, the people are trying to escape over the border. I remember that. I think they're trying to. Yeah, they're trying to escape another African country over the border. A lot of people say that the final mission of the final part of that movie is based on Far Cry 2, because in Far Cry 2, that's the final part, is when the people are trying to escape over the border and the militias are chasing them, and you have to stop the militias. So that's what some people are saying. Far Cry 2's ending got the inspiration from that movie. Was Jackson a good president? This is why when it comes to stuff like history, for example, you can't look at history through like a black and white lens. Let me see here. Wait, I don't want to do any of these missions. I don't feel like doing those. So look, when it comes to Jackson, was Jackson a good president or not? Jackson did some things in his presidency that were definitely good. There was definitely some things he did that were good. Like, for example, what Jackson did is he had paid off the entire national debt. A lot of people don't know that. Is that Jackson is the only president in American history that paid off the entire national debt. And that is an accomplishment that he can be proud of, doing that. No other president has ever managed to do that. So that was the entire national debt being paid off was definitely a good thing. What Jackson was despised like the elites. He despised like bankers. He despised like rich people. He was more of like a man of like the poor, but specifically only the white poor. That's the thing about it. Jackson was a very racist man. So he did some good things, like, paying off the national debt was definitely a one of his best accomplishments. But then you also had things like you had the Trail of Tears, where the Cherokee had lived in Georgia and they had won a Supreme Court case, but Jackson just basically ignored the Supreme Court case and had thrown them off their land. So Jackson was a controversial president. He did some good things. The American economy definitely improved under him. He made America a stronger country. But at the end of the day, he was also a pretty brutal and racist guy. So that's what I would say about it. But Jackson's greatest accomplishment, is not even when he was president. His greatest accomplishment is actually during the War of 1812, when he stopped the British from invading New Orleans. He stopped it. So like he absolutely obliterated the British army when they landed in New Orleans. He ambushed them in the swamps, and even though he was outnumbered, he refused to surrender. Did not cower, and he obliterated them. He destroyed the entire British military. Andrew Jackson, yes, so that's what he's known for. He's known as the hero of New Orleans. That's why in Mafia 3 there's also a statue of him, which New Bordeaux is based off New Orleans. It's specifically for that. Jackson and Charles Dickinson were already fighting before the duel. Jackson pulled the trigger, but his gun jammed, which counts as a shot. He reloaded and shot again when the duel was already over. Oh, okay, Alien. Thank you for the super chat. But you know what the craziest story about Andrew Jackson is? You know what the most insane story about him is? Is that Andrew Jackson also had the first presidential assassination attempt in history. So the first time somebody tried to kill the president was under Andrew Jackson. So Andrew Jackson was ambushed by this guy who tried to kill him on a staircase. And the guy who tried to kill him was insane, and the guy basically believed that he was related to the British monarchy, and he believed like that the king was like his great-grandfather or something stupid like that. And so he considered Jackson like a traitor to the British monarchy because Jackson had destroyed the British army at New Orleans. And so what he did was he had pulled a pistol on Jackson and he tried to shoot him. The pistol jammed, and then he pulled out a second pistol that he had on him, and the second pistol jammed also. And so Jackson was extremely lucky that both guns jammed. But the story gets even crazier at that point. Jackson got really angry, like really mad, that what he did was he took his cane, and Jackson started beating the guy with the cane. And Jackson beat the guy half to death with his cane. And Jackson was beating this guy so badly that Secret Service had to actually, or they weren't really called Secret Service at the time, but they were more his bodyguards. The presidential bodyguards had to actually wrestle Jackson to the ground to get him to stop because he was about to kill this guy. So like, imagine that the president's bodyguards have to basically wrestle the president to the ground because he's about to kill somebody. So that was with Jackson, is that he was literally beating his assassin to death with his cane, and his own bodyguards had to stop him and restrain him because he almost killed the guy. Dickinson has insulted Jackson's wife and accused him of cheating horse races. That's what I heard. Is it true, though? The horse races. Is that true or not? But this is exactly why you need to look at history through, like, you can't look at history for, like, black and white. Like I said, Jackson was a brutal guy. He did some bad things, but one, accomplishment he did have was paying off the national debt. And that is an accomplishment that he can be proud of, and he should be remembered for, is paying off the national debt. Because no other president in history has ever succeeded in that. No one has ever. And honestly speaking, I don't think we will ever have a president that will ever pay off the national debt. I don't think it's ever going to happen. So no, it's never going to happen. Well, John Wilkes Booth was just a creepy guy. He was a northerner that was very sympathetic to the South. And he had come up in the balcony where Lincoln was, He shot Lincoln in the back of the head. Then he fought. There was a general that was sitting with Lincoln. He fought against that general. He shot him too, but he ended up surviving. Then he jumped down from the balcony and he ran. He ran away. He was later cornered in a barn, and the soldiers burned the barn and killed him.
I'm still looking.
No, John Wilkes Booth, he died in a barn.
Hey, what do you think you're doing here?
Oh, damn, I shot that. Thoughts on James Garfield? Wasn't he the president who died 1 month in office? Pro, apparently, I don't think it's true. Rockstar dev said that they regret futuristic vehicles like the Oppressor Mark II. Where did you hear this? Hello, show. I'm really curious. I'm really, really curious. Where did you hear this? Where's this coming from? Man, what is my horse doing? My horse is just stupid right now. Plans to watch Iron Lung. Pretty cool movie. Just watching in theaters. What's that one about, Jonathan? Thank you for being a member of my channel for 2 years. It's about finding, like, rare items, Shiny Knight. How corrupt is the Galactic Republic? I know a few reasons, but can you explain things better? The Galactic Republic was dominated primarily by rich human planets. So it was like rich planets, and specifically they were human planets. That the alien planets that were not as rich were constantly abandoned, not given as much say in the Senate. Oh, okay, Shiny Knight. I can call you Austin then. Hey, Pro, I got a D in history class, and since you're so good with history, can you help me? What do you need help with, Javi? How many times did I complete Fallout 3 as an evil character? Oh, multiple times. Multiple playthroughs. Oh, from Star Wars, Snake. Well, one of the worst things that I am the Senate Lord Sidious. That's funny. One of the stupidest things that the Jedi did was that they took a side in that war. They should have never gotten involved in that war. They should have stayed out of that war. They should have tried to mediate it and make peace. The Jedi are meant to be peacekeepers, not generals. For the Republic, for the Chancellor. That's from Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original. I remember the clone trooper says for the Chancellor. Not really, Jonathan. He doesn't do the scratch cards, but he plays Take 5. Well, for one, I think taxes can be a lot, I think taxes can be lowered. There's also a reason the United States does not drill in places like Alaska. Like, the United States has a lot of its own oil that we can export, but the reason that the United States doesn't drill in countries like Alaska is because it would piss off some of our allies. That's the reason why they don't do it. I'm interested in the Crime Syndicate in Star Wars. If you are interested in the Crime Syndicate in Star Wars, later this year I will post a playthrough of Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Star Wars Bounty Hunter is an actual crime game. You play as Jango Fett when he's he's involved in the criminal underworld in Star Wars. And it's a really good game, actually. And I played the remastered version of it. I will actually post that later in the summertime.
I'm gonna make you pay.
I don't think that's going to happen, Flaming Eel. What's wrong with U.S. allies at drilling oil in Alaska? Certain countries that are allied with America would be very angry if America started drilling oil in Alaska. I'm telling you. A lot of countries would be really mad at America for that. That's why America doesn't do it. You can never beat Star Wars Bounty Hunter because it keeps crashing. What part did it crash for you on? Can you post your comment again, Zach? Ooh.
You gonna rue this day. You hear me?
I'm good, Elijah. How are you, dude? Why would allies not be okay to drill in Alaska? If you look at a country, for example, like Saudi Arabia, it does technically count as an American ally. It's not like part of NATO, but it is an American ally. Saudi Arabia would be lobbies a lot, and they lobby also in American politics for America not to drill in Alaska. And if America drilled in Alaska, like opened up the reserves in Alaska, countries like Saudi Arabia would be pretty pissed off. A lot of Middle Eastern countries would also be pretty angry about that. You can deliver this target.
This is going to be a long ride. There.
Yes, that's in Russia, alien. Yes, I will, Zach. Is it true that Americans committed lots of violence against socialists? Sure, I guess, because like the United States fought against, you know, communists and socialists in several conflicts, but it's also true that socialists had committed so many, you know, violent acts against Americans. Let's see here. We're gonna go to well, the income tax is like one of the biggest scams out there. It's such a broken tax. The income tax should not exist. I don't think income tax should exist at all. It's such a broken BS tax. Trying to giving the government 30% of your money every year. It's just such a, you know, you work hard for that, for them to take that. I never liked the idea of an income tax. It just punishes you for working harder. I don't think it should exist personally. I heard some people say that Theodore Roosevelt was the most American president we've ever had. Their words, not mine. Why would some people have this opinion? Theodore Roosevelt was a hunter. He was a hunter. He was a big outdoorsman guy. He was a big gun rights guy. He was also a he also broke up a lot of these giant, large corporations that were forming trusts and monopolies. He encouraged like free market competition between companies. You know, he was more of a guy that was for the common man and woman. So like that, Teddy Roosevelt was like a guy that everybody basically likes. Like, you know, even if you were, you know, he is one of the few presidents in American history where if you're both a left winger and a right winger, you'll like him. That's the thing about him, is that he was just a president that both sides liked. He survived a direct bullet. Yes, that is true. He got shot, and then he gave a speech when he was shot. The speech lasted for over 40 minutes. That is true. Why don't you be a history teacher? I don't think I could, you know, do it. I like talking history for fun, but if it was a job, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much. Truman was a great president also. You know what I like about Truman is that Truman did not tolerate the Soviets at all. He did not tolerate communists. That's what I think is Roosevelt was a much more appeasing guy. Like, he appeased the Soviets much more, but Truman was not going to tolerate that. And that's what I like about Truman, is that Truman was not scared of Stalin. He was not going to tolerate Stalin's BS. The most underrated president, Truman, probably. Yeah, Truman. I don't think Truman gets enough credit for a lot of the stuff that he did. Have you ever thought about becoming a historian? I mean, I guess I kind of consider myself a historian right now. We make like I make like history videos. Is Truman racist or not? No. There really is no proof that Truman was a racist. When Truman was younger, yes, he did have some racist views when he was younger. That is true. But the thing about Truman is Truman passed laws when he was president that were anti-racist laws. It was Truman who desegregated the federal government. Truman had also Truman tried to make lynching a federal crime, but the House voted against that. So he tried to make that a federal crime. What was it? Truman did go after the Ku Klux Klan. He did that as well. So there really is no proof that Truman was a racist. The people that say that Truman was a racist, what they're usually pointing to when Truman was in his early 30s. He tried to become a judge in Missouri, in his town, because he was from the Midwest. That's where he grew up. And in Missouri, when he was trying to become a judge, he wanted the support of the Ku Klux Klan in the region, and that was probably one of his stupidest, decisions that he made, is doing that. And at that, when he was in that small that county where he was running in, if somebody did not have the support of the KKK, they could not win an election. The KKK basically controlled like the voting in that region. A lot of the people were either KKK members or they were very sympathetic to them. And what Truman did was he went to a KKK meeting. And when he went during that to that meeting, you know what they told him? They told him that he has to fire everybody who is Jewish. He has to fire from his company. He has to also fire anybody who's a Catholic. He has to get rid of all Irish people that are in his running in his campaign, helping him. And Truman basically said no. He's like, no, this is stupid, and he walked out of the whole thing. So he did attend a KKK meeting, but there's no proof that he had any of those racist views, and he basically called them a bunch of idiots. So, like, that's, like, you know, when people say that Truman was, like, a white supremacist, I don't believe that. I think that, like, they're trying to slander him. You know, he made a stupid decision when he was younger, but when he was president, he made up for that later in his life with the laws that he passed.
I'll find you.
Let's get the horse back again here. You think there'll be a future war over Antarctica? Not really. There's nothing really, you know, unless, you know, there's nothing really valuable in Antarctica. Thank you, Ghost Studio, for the super chat. Happy birthday to Dexter King. He would have been 65, and happy birthday to Jennifer Hale, the voice of Avatar Kyoshi, and happy birthday to Christian Bale. Oh, today? January 31st, huh? It's also about to be February. Have I watched Boardwalk Empire? No, I've seen clips of it though. What do you think will happen if the US makes trillions of dollars from oil and still keeps taxes going, like income tax? What do you think people will do, and will you do personally? Well, here's what I will tell you, Spreezo. And this is what politicians don't understand about the economy, and what politicians, you know, face it, a lot of politicians are stupid guys. And this is what most politicians don't understand, both Democrat and Republican. I don't want to get into the political aspect of it, but the one thing that I will say about this is that politicians constantly complain about inflation. They always say, "Oh, inflation is this bad," and, you know, inflation is going up. And don't get me wrong, inflation is a problem, but inflation is not the biggest problem. It isn't. Do you know what the biggest problem is? The biggest problem isn't inflation. The biggest problem is that wages are not matching inflation. That's the part that politicians never want to talk about. They will talk all about inflation. They'll say, oh, inflation is this bad, but they won't talk about the fact that wages are not matching inflation. That is a bigger problem than inflation itself, because inflation would not be a problem if wages followed it. So if your wage increased to match inflation, it would not be that much of a problem. But the problem is that inflation keeps going up, so the value of your money goes down, but you are not getting paid more. You don't get paid more, but the value of your money goes down. That's the biggest problem, not the inflation itself. It's the fact that your wages are not matching the rate of inflation. That is the biggest problem. That's what the politicians will not tell you. They'll constantly talk about inflation, but lowering inflation is not going to help if your wage does not go up with it. That's the whole point. No, I didn't know that, Niall. I didn't know that. Oh. When I get my jetpack, the game crashes and I can't continue. What are you playing it on? What system? Well, that's one thing I don't like, is I don't like how I don't like how so many computers don't have disk drives anymore. I don't like that. Yet I have to buy like an actual USB disk drive. Like they expect everything to be digitally. Like I like physical stuff too. Like my laptop, my gaming laptop, for example, here, guys. This laptop does not have a disk drive, and so I had to buy a USB, disk drive to connect it to it. So when I want to play discs on this, gaming laptop, I have to use that USB disk drive. Like there should be a disk drive inside the computer itself. On Henry Kissinger, negative view of him.
Let me go.
You can never lower inflation, only control how fast or slow inflation can rise. Yes, but the problem, like I said earlier, dude, is that wages are not keeping up with inflation, and that's the biggest problem. No, it's perfectly fine, Internet Mouse. What's up, dude? PS4 port of the PS2 version. Well, Chaos, I will tell you this. Why don't you try downloading Stars Bounty Hunter Remastered? Stars Bounty Hunter Remastered, it came out in 2024. If you're playing the PS2 port on the PS4, and I don't know, the only thing I can tell you is I have played the remaster of Stars Battlefront, Bounty Hunter. I played the remaster of Stars Bounty Hunter, and I can tell you it's a good remaster. It's a good one. So I can vouch for that one personally. That the graphics look better, the effects look better, the gameplay was even better. Like in the original PS2 version of Bounty Hunter, if you tried to use Jango Fett's like helmet to scan enemies, the game would just go really quickly and you get shut up. But when you use Jango Fett's helmet to scan enemies in the remaster, time slows down, which helps you a lot because it helps you identify targets. So it's just that feature was just so much more better. Well, I'm gonna have a video with T4R Soul talking about that physical delay. I'm gonna video talking about that. The port is a bit buggy. Well, the PS2 version of Bounty Hunter maybe, but I played the remastered version, the PS5 version, which was actually pretty good. Pro, is the Secret Service the hardest job to get? No. There are much more difficult jobs to get than Secret Service. While Secret Service might be difficult, I think the hardest job to get in America, like out of all the jobs in the country, I think the hardest job to get, like probably be in Delta Force. Probably that. Like getting into Delta Force, the Special Forces, that's probably the hardest job ever, in America. Like that's like probably less than 0.01% of the population will qualify for that. Those are the guys who captured the Venezuelan dictator, by the way. Like they like one of the best special forces that we have in the country. Like that's probably the hardest job to get, is that passing all their requirements, and it's not even just their physical tests, it's also passing their mental tests. Their mental tests are also very difficult. What happened to your friend Pudding? He used to come around in the streams. Oh, Pudding is a friend of mine that I grew up with in real life. He's one of my best friends. He usually a lot of the games that I play, like Red Dead and GTA, he doesn't really find those games interesting. That's not really the games that he plays. He mostly plays shooters. That's what he plays. He plays Battlefield. That's what he plays most of the time too. If I was playing Battlefield, he'd probably come by the live streams. But that was occasionally he sometimes pops in. I haven't seen him in some time, but yeah, he dislikes shooters most of the time. Oh, he didn't like it. He did not like it at all, Mouse. Did Eddie Scarpa know that Falcone was involved in drugs? Probably. He's basically the underboss, so he probably knew. Yeah, and Minion Dave, this Wednesday we'll go back to it and we'll do the yeah, we'll go back to it this Wednesday. I heard more about it, Izatsu fan, that more of it has been released. Well, I told him not to, but he just still does it, Reagan. That one I don't know as much about, Adrian. Okay, let me go play some poker here. What the hell is going on in this town? Okay. You going for platinum? For San Andreas, I might hit platinum trophy for that. Oh no. Why does this happen? Hang on. Controller died at the worst moment. Oh, I know, but I'm gonna take all the territories on the next stream of San Andreas. Do you know what the worst part of Bully was? The worst part of Bully was all the side characters. Like, you know, the side characters that you had to meet and they asked the favors that you had to do? Like, those were the worst. Like, finding all the favors. Those sucked. That was the worst part of Bully 100%. Finding all those people on the street that asked for favors. The worst part of San Andreas 100% was all the collectibles. That was the worst part. The worst part of Yakuza 100% was or at least Yakuza 0 100%. That was probably the arcade games. The arcade games, that's probably was even worse than Mahjong. The Mahjong was annoying, but at least the Mahjong was based on luck, where the arcade games, you had to actually get really good at them. Would I replay Bully? The thing about that, guys, is I was actually gonna do a live stream of Bully Online. That's what I was gonna do it, and I was actually gonna let you guys were all gonna be able to join me, and I was gonna tell people like join me on Bully Online, and we would have all played it together. But the problem is, you know who Take-Two Interactive took the mod down, and so the Bully Online mod is gone. So I was gonna download that, and we were gonna play that all together in a stream, but now we can't even do that. That's what sucks. I was also looking forward to playing as the I was looking forward to playing as the Greasers. Is that what they were called, the Greasers, or the gang in Bully, the kids that had the oiled hair and the black leather jackets? That gang was my favorite gang. I was looking forward to playing as them in Bully Online, but unfortunately it got taken down. That was when did they take it down? Like a week ago. Yeah, like, I can't believe that organizations that big exist like Duvan. The thing is though, is I will tell you guys, the only places where a large organization can actually, like a large crime organization can exist is in countries where there's massive amounts of corruption. Like a mafia that has like 35,000 members would not survive in America. Like that would be broken up pretty quickly. But like if you look at a country like Mexico, Mexico is a very corrupt country, extreme corruption in Mexico. In Mexico, there are cartels in Mexico. I think it's the Sinaloa cartel that they have 200,000 members. 200,000. Imagine that. They have more people in their cartel than some people have in cities. They have the Sinaloa cartel have more members than some countries have in their military soldiers. So basically, just think about that they have larger force than some countries' militaries. So that, and the reason that they're able to survive like that in Mexico is because Mexico is so corrupt. That's the primary reason. Will GTA 6 be woke? No, I don't believe that stuff. Please capture each territory in San Andreas with different weapons. I could mix it up. Yeah, I will play that later in February, Grove Street. Aren't they brutal too? Oh, the cartel 100% is very brutal. Very, very brutal. No, I don't think the Institute and Enclave would ever work together. I thought Disco Dance, maybe a little bit, but I would say the arcade games are even worse in Yakuza. Which cartel is the most powerful? Sonola. These cards are actually really good that I have right now. Come on, come on. Well, I haven't watched enough to make that conclusion, Zach. On what? On what specifically, Shiny Knight? I'm risking a lot on this bet here, but... Well, my favorite faction, my favorite gang in the HD universe would be the Lost MC. Hey, Pro, if you could, I would really recommend getting and playing Yakuza 3 Remastered before Kwami 3. Too much controversy surrounds the game by now. Yeah, people told me about that actor and that there's some graphical also issue with the game, right? Thank you, Simon, for the super chat. Well, the Enclave doesn't trust anyone. Damn, look at that. I didn't even have one face card there. That is true. The cartel have almost no honor. You're 100% right on that. You know, say what you want about the American Mafia, but at least the American Mafia have some limits. The cartel have no limits. Dark Ties. Is Dark Ties available in the original Yakuza 3? Isn't Dark Ties where you play as the villain? Are you talking about El Salvador, Ferris? The cartel is just has too much power and there's too much corruption, Ferris, in Mexico. Fallout 3 villain playthrough, definitely a lot of fun. Okay, I got one matching card here. Got a lot of fun games ready in February, Menacing. Yeah, San Andreas is one of the best games. Has NPC profiles for each area, poor and rich, with different pedestrian style density at different hours for weekends and weekdays. Criminal density increase at night. Yeah, that's why San Andreas is like one of the best games ever made. Okay, screw it. Let's see if they take the bait on this. Mexican cartel would win. Mexican cartels are a lot stronger than Colombian cartels now. Oh no. Wow. The Fallout 3 Evo Karma playthrough will be a lot of fun. Yes, later today there'll be a Yakuza part, Mark, but it'll be probably in like 10 hours from now. Well, Sotenbori looks a lot cooler, Adrian. I've noticed that the deck on near the water is a lot bigger now. Broken Steel, because it ends the story, Ferris. Okay, this will probably be my last hand. Let's see if we could... Well, Henry was a scumbag in Mafia 2. He was a rat and a traitor. Oh, crap. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, look at that. Okay, look at that. I got all my money pretty much back, and I got extra. I'm gonna leave here. Well, Colonel Autumn could be alive in the Fallout TV show, Gary. He could be alive because the Lone Wanderer could have stared him. So he could very much still be alive. He could be out there somewhere. Okay, guys, I'm gonna probably wrap up my stream here. Does anybody want to ask me any questions before I go? Before I go, I'll answer a few questions if anybody wants to ask me anything here. Worst part about waking up early in the morning? The exhaustion. Like, when you wake up, it's like you're trying to... Those first 10 minutes when you're still half asleep. I didn't even know that they knew each other. Imanu. Favorite character in Bully Jimmy? Wildlands playthrough in the spring. I don't think CJ was that much taller than Ryder. Thank you, Internet Mouse.
Hey, get the hell out of here.
No, please! Oh my God!
Just go away.
Can you leave me alone?
What the...
No, please, don't. What are
you guys doing? I just jumped on the back of the wagon and they're all like panicking now.
Oh, come on!
Go on and move. Look out.
What, Jonathan Reagan? After SA, what? CRBC what? If I get time to it. I want to eventually do Majima's DLC, yes. It's my 21st birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Elijah. Everyone wish Elijah happy birthday there. I don't think the Fallout remasters are dropping next month. I don't think so. Oh, Crime Boss. Okay, just say Crime Boss, because I get confused by that. Yeah, we'll probably do it sometime in February again. I just always get confused by that short abbreviation for it.
Good to see you back.
Well, the other languages were Slavic, so it was easier for him to learn, but I think Spanish would probably be very difficult for him to learn. Okay, guys, I'll be going here. Hope you're okay, Sugesta. I'll be going here. Guys, thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream, and tomorrow I'll have a video talking about that physical release delay of GTA 6. I don't think it's happening. I think it's BS, but we'll talk about that. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope that that you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.